Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair agale, ni hao, chunishumme, washmale, ohaya gonzaimas, guten Morgen, hola, boyo, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, fabia, balli kare aaya, hosh galden and ayo sayo, khuyamora, chivato, chihal yud, kalimera, khairutan, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching what this morning. Alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Hajar Satti. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and since the weather is changing, I'm a little under the weather. But we hope and pray that everybody out there is feeling wonderful and that you guys are ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Haja, Assalamu Alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum Assalam. Thank you so much. I think we are perfectly enjoying the autumn transition in Islamabad because weather is transitioning, and certainly you can feel, especially in the mornings, that you can't take a very cold shower bath, right? So you have to turn on your geysers and make sure that the water is little bit warmer so you can take a bath. But having said so, Shahzad, October 1st was observed as the World Coffee Day, and since you were not feeling well, I think especially with the sore throat, so coffee is a cure for that because it does it has some sort of healing effects on your sore throats. So there are lots of types of the coffees, right? And so I am not a very pro-caffeine friendly person because I don't feel.
Likewise here as well.
Oh my God, you consume a lot of caffeine.
There's only one cup of coffee that I'll take, and that is.
But you still take it.
Yeah, only if it's available in the office. That's it. So I do not even drink coffee at home, not even before my workouts. I do not like coffee that much because it gives me palpitation. But for everybody who's out there,
too much.
Obviously, you know, so we've spoken about coffee quite a lot. So the best coffee producer happens to be Ethiopia. Well, that's something that we have certainly
And it was discovered there in Kafka region, right?
Yes.
And we had that coffee beans and they were really amazing and they smelled very nice because this fragrance and aroma was very strong. But there are lots of types of coffee. So Americano, latte, and
cappuccino.
Yes,
I think that's the only one I know.
Turkish coffee and the Arabic coffee and espresso.
Skinny. Now there's skinny latte as well, you know. So it comes with skimmed milk, you know. So there's so much of variation out there.
Cafe
for coffees.
mocha,
and not just the hot ones. Now the cold ones are out there as well. So there's frappes, there's mochas in the cold ones. There's cold coffee, and then, you know, so Dalgona coffee, you know, so there's so much of variation in coffee. So imagine that just one business, ladies and gentlemen, can give you so many variations. I mean, that's certainly dependent on people, on how they kind of think about it. So many coffee houses are still operating all over the globe. You know, there are few ones which are the branded ones. People love to go over there and then kind of put their snaps and, you know, on Instagram as well, holding the coffee cup from this amazing brand. But certainly coffee happens to be coffee. And for everybody who wants to wake up on coffee, best of luck to you too.
Yes, and Shahzad, so there are lots of connotations associated with the coffee houses. So they're not just there for consuming coffee. Obviously, primarily they are there where you can buy coffees, but they're also the gatherings or the public spaces where you can have an intellectual activities. And in the past, we have seen that different regimes, especially when there was an empire system, so they cracked down on the coffee houses because that was the places where the sedition was taking place, against the emperor or against whoever was the ruling at that time. So people used to gather there over a cup of coffee. They were plotting, they were scheming, but having said so, in the modern day connotations, we are seeing that there are lots of free debates that happen in the coffee houses, right? So there are lots of speeches that are happening. There are lots of intellectual activity that is happening. But October 1st is observed as a World Coffee Day in order to recognize.
Which is why I'm going to ask you now, you know, so Starbucks or Tim Hortons?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very caffeine.
But still,
I haven't tried both of them.
Really?
Honestly speaking,
you know, you're so well traveled. You've been to so many different places.
But coffee is not my cup of tea, I would say, because I don't consume
so mango shake or apple shake?
Mango, of course, mango is the king of the...
This sums up our conversation, but now moving on towards another important day, which actually happens to be World Habitat Day. And ladies and gentlemen, we certainly need to think about it because imagine that this year, because first of all, it was observed in 1986 Nairobi, but not just that, you know, I think what we need to talk about today is its theme, you know. So the theme actually says that the resilient urban economy, cities as drivers of growth and recovery, and that's something we have spoken about, certainly, because imagine happen that, you know, that we certainly need to have economy in such a way where we are making sure that we are going to contribute at a larger scale, you know, not just for the city or the urban provinces or the cities itself, but rather making sure that the entire ecosystem is actually established on these urban areas where there's industry, where the economy is driven, because a lot of people from rural areas are going to move on towards the urban areas. in hopes to do well. And it's the urban cities which really need to do well in terms of economy. So please make sure that you kind of look after your habitat, not just that you look after only yourselves, but the flora and fauna which surrounds you as well.
That's very true, and this is observed in order to ensure that the basic right is provided to all and for the adequate shelter out there. And we've seen, Shahzad, that how they, in particularly big urban areas, in big urban centers in cities like Karachi and like all across the world, New York, so there are people who are living in a very posh areas, in a very privileged places, but there are also people who are living in a less privileged areas, in the marginalized communities, in ghettos, right? So the purpose of this day is to make sure that there is an adequate housing and shelter for all. And thank you so much for including the environment into it, because let's take the example of Islamabad, right? So when we were growing up, we knew a very different sort of Islamabad. It was very green, there were lots of forests, there was lots of flora, there were lots of faunas, but now you see that forest has disappeared and there are lots of mushrooming housing societies across the road, and we've seen that how that has contributed towards a shift in the patterns and how people are moving, migrating from the rural areas towards the temperatures have risen, and that's because we haven't taken into the consideration the environment factor in the first place, right? So there should be an adequate forest cover to make sure that the environment is protected in the first place, because climate change is real, it's happening, and we have bear the consequences of that.
Exactly. Now, in addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, because when we say Pak Chin Dosti Bong Swai, there's a higher responsibility on all of us as Pakistani brethren to Chinese people, that we kind of make sure that we celebrate their National Day amongst them. Now, imagine on the 1st of October, even though that it's the 2nd of October today, but on the 1st of October, the celebrations have kick-started back home in China, where it's the National Day, ladies and gentlemen. 1st October 1949, China's first ever National Day was being celebrated and observed. Not just that, in addition to that, what we really need to do is that we really need to congratulate our Chinese brethren in making sure, because what they do is that they call this the Golden Week.
Right.
So what they do is that they, they kind of bring together both the weekends, and then they make sure that everybody's going to celebrate, China. That's it. And I think that, as Pakistanis, we do celebrate China as well, because of the fact that they've contributed. They've always been through thick and thin, with Pakistan. Maybe Pakistan doing it for China, or maybe China doing it for Pakistan. I think that this is the kind of bond and relationship that we have shared over the years, which certainly we want that isko buri nazar na lage.
That's very true, and there are lots of syllogisms shaped to define Pakistan-China friendship, like deeper than ocean, sweeter than honey, higher than Himalayas. Yes, of course, and we've seen the Himalayas are extremely higher, right? So this is how we define Pakistan-China friendship and Pakistan-China bonds, and China has always been there in the bad testing times of Pakistan. And likewise, Pakistan has been always there to support China, and especially we've seen that how Pakistan was there when the COVID hit China, and Pakistan sent a lot of masks and gloves and all of that equipment which needed to be there in order to make sure to protect yourself from an very unseen enemy that was taking the globe, taking across the world. But having said so, we will obviously talk about the Pakistan-China friendship. What does that mean for us?
And even if we talk about KKH, the Karakoram Highway, even if we talk about CPEC, even if we talk about economic zones, I believe that China has contributed quite a lot, towards the development and prosperity of the Pakistani people, and we're certainly thankful. And on this day, ladies and gentlemen, because we have been given this opportunity, we are celebrating China's National Day. And to talk about this, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who himself has lived in China, number one, and number two, he will be sharing that, actually what happens when we talk about China's National Day. Not just that, this year around, this is different, because there's another festival, which the Autumn Festival, which they have made sure is going to collide with their National Day. So imagine that the people of China everywhere might be celebrating. So without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Professor Zamir Oman Sahab. Hello sir, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Very fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah, sir, and let's talk about Pakistan-China friendship, right? So China, I think the biggest success story of the China that inspires me a lot, Shahzad, and I would like to take notice of that, especially on a morning show, is that how they were able to uplift so many or millions of people out of the poverty. And I think that is the biggest success story of how modern economies can help shape uplift the people who are living among the marginalized centers or below that poverty line and bring it into the main fold, right? So would you like to deliberate upon them, so how China's experiences, what we can learn in reshaping the poverty across
Definitely.
the world?
China has a unique experience, and this is an example for the rest of the world. Pakistan, being the close friend of China, must learn from the Chinese experience. However, it was the National Day, so let me start with the National Day celebration. 1st of October is the Chinese National Day. Every year they celebrate with the full
fervor and
excitement. And this year especially, when they have two festivals together, they have combined. That is the Mid-Autumn Festival, which was on the 28th of September, and 1st of October is the National Day. The two festivals combined together, it means that the happiness is double. The festivities are even more exciting. The day started with the flag hosting ceremony in the Tiananmen Square, the center of the Beijing, where the President Xi Jinping, the senior leadership of China, and all the diplomatic community, friendly countries, and public gather there, and national anthem is always sung there, and flag hosting ceremony with a lot of celebration there. This is the major celebration. And also, of course, in all provincial capitals, in the national local governments, and in schools, universities, and many other places, they also mark the day. Even that the Chinese embassy all over the world, they also celebrate the same day with the same spirit. The National Day is very important festival. It is a Golden Week holidays, prolonged holidays. They combined the weekends with the national days, and this year especially, when they have combined two festivals, even the longer holidays are available. People are traveling back to their hometown to meet their elder pupils, parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunties, and the relatives. And some of them, especially the youth, they always travel to abroad or within China to tourist destination. This is very important. When they are traveling, it means they are spending money. The economic cycle is in process. So the money is in circulation. That is one of the reasons why the China always combine weekend with the holidays, public holidays, and give the longer holidays. So encourage the people to spend money, to go for traveling. And this is the way how they move the domestic economy. And also, whenever they travel abroad, it also helps the other countries to move their economy. I mean, this is a good habit, and even that, if the National Day lies on weekend, they don't eat that holidays, they compensate the next working days.
Wow. I think that's what every nation needs to do, to compensate for your holidays. But sir, in addition to this, there's more to it. Now imagine that whichever part of the world I've been to, alhamdulillah, there's no airport or there's no shopping mall that I've not seen a Chinese person, somewhere shopping something or buying
Chinese
something.
Product, right?
No, may it be Chinese product or not, that certainly, which does not matter, but may it be the most expensive brands, may it be anywhere, that you will certainly come across a Chinese person, number one. Number two, I think that this is the day that we really need to reflect upon our relationship, because may it be a war-like situation for Pakistan, may it be the economic crisis, may it be how people were badly affected in COVID times and we needed vaccinations. China has always been around. China has always been that brother, which Pakistan needed, and Pakistan has always made sure that Pakistan is going to develop the same relationship with the people of China or the Republic of China. Now, the question happens to be, because it's their birthday, okay, because it's their day, it's the China National Day, how do you see in near future we really need to construct more avenues of having brighter relationship?
It is our tradition. Whenever the National Day of Pakistan, the Chinese leadership greet Pakistan.
True.
And this occasion, when the China is celebrating National Day, our Prime Minister has greeted Chinese, our Foreign Minister has greeted, our Information Minister has greeted, our Ambassador in Beijing, Pakistan Embassy, has greeted the Chinese leadership and the people of China. Even that in Pakistan, many organizations have celebrated the Chinese National Day. and they have sent the message of greetings to the Chinese brothers and sisters. However, coming back to your question,
moving ahead, with relationships. Yes.
Moving, of course, we are the closest friend of China.
Yes.
And China owns it. China always recognize it.
True.
And respect it.
True.
China has values, and they respect the values. And the friendship is very important in the Chinese society. So China always help Pakistan. There are many new avenues of cooperation. First of all, the CPEC will be accelerated. The projects under CPEC will be executed on the high speed, and more projects will come to Pakistan. China really want to help Pakistan. In past, CPEC has contributed to national economy, and especially in the GDP growth, they have a significant share. In future, it will increase. However, still I will emphasize that it is up to us, that we have to work hard and struggle more. If we are sincere, we are willing, China is always there to help us and to guide us.
Wow.
Regarding the Sati's question, that how the China has alleviated the poverty, it is really impossible for any other country.
True.
And it never happened in the history of our known history of the world, that any country has achieved a mega progress in poverty alleviation.
Right.
China has eliminated poverty from 88% in 1980s to 0.
Wow.
Now almost completely eradicated the poverty.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Around 800 million people were lifted from the poverty line, and it was really amazing. It is a lesson for the rest of the world. Pakistan being the close friend of China, we must learn the Chinese experience. It was basically by the policy measures. The China has not given money direct to anybody. They have no Benazir income support program. They have not Asas program. They are not making the nation the beggars. They have given the policy incentive. They have provided the opportunity for the poor people to make more money, to earn more money, to stand up on their own feet.
Right.
This is the way we have to learn from the Chinese.
I mean, yes, of course it is, but I think BISP or SARS program, they have their own significance, so let's not bring them into the debate. Now let's talk about something which I believe can give a common point for humanity to work on, and I think Pakistan and China can collaborate on them, which is that how Beijing, it used to have one of a very dirtier skies, and especially among the smog season, but they are able to curtail that. And this is how they are fighting the climate change very brilliantly, and considering the fact that they are one of the industrialized nation, right? So how can Pakistan and China collaborate together on their common fight towards the humanity, which is against the climate change? Because obviously it's a reality, and Pakistan has faced the dire repercussions, especially last year in the form of flooding.
It is not only the China or the Beijing. The whole world has a similar problem.
True.
The West, especially Europe, while they were
but China emits a strong commitment towards that.
Let me
Sure.
complete my comments.
Sure.
The West, especially Europe, when they were making economic progress, they ignored the environment aspect.
Yes.
They industrialized their country. They polluted the environment. Once the economy becomes strong, they have enough money, then they address the environmental issues. China did the same thing. While China was making progress, industrialization was in the progress, and they have ignored the environmental aspect. So they have polluted the environment. Now the China has become very stable and very rich country. They have enough money to address the environmental issues.
True.
For last couple of years, I have seen a mega achievement in the environment of China, especially in the Beijing. It used to be very dirty environment, but
Yes.
now it is very clean.
Yes.
I was in China last month, and I witnessed that the sky was blue and the air was fresh.
Yes.
At least there was no pollution, at least much better than the Islamabad sky environment.
Yes.
And the same thing is happening with the India. India, while making economic progress, is going for industrialization, is polluting environment. And unfortunately, Pakistan is the victim of Indian pollution. and Pakistan is suffering due to the Indian industrialization and pollution creating and bad environment in India. And we are victim of the climate change and environment.
And we are a victim of not doing quite a lot as well. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you.
Thank you so
much. And
much.
Unfortunately, these are those facts which certainly everybody is well aware of all over the world. But let's bring it back to the National Day of China. So to all of those Chinese people who are out there, obviously that one word which I can actually say or call in the Chinese language is ni hao or han hao,
ni hao, yeah.
But so congratulations to all of you. May you celebrate. May the years coming ahead, ladies and gentlemen, bring a lot of prosperity towards the relationship in between China and Pakistan. Ji sir, you wanted to add, sir, please.
Yes, I want to greet my Chinese brother and sister in Chinese.
Sure, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
祝大家国庆节快乐.
Sir, हमें भी बताएं, हम भी यही करना चाहते हैं. Please, can we do that?
祝大家国庆节快乐.
All right, so
谢谢.
happy China National Day to everybody who's out there who's celebrating. People over here in Pakistan are really excited for the people and the brothers and sisters back home in China. Congratulations, and in the years to come, we wish you prosperity and success, and that too alongside the brotherhood which Pakistan and China has enjoyed over the years. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, from here we are heading out towards a short break. There's a lot to learn from China in terms of industrialization, in terms of business, in terms of foreign direct investment, and that's something we will be talking about right after a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Break, we were talking about Pakistan-China friendship and the business opportunities that it can generate, and we touched upon the CPEC also. But now we have some really good news to share, and Shahzad, why don't you take the lead, because Pakistan's currency is strengthening against the dollar, and this is the much needed respite that we need to have, especially nowadays when the global inflation is hitting the entire economy, the entire globe in the first place. So,
and I'm glad that we're sharing this good news with everybody outside. Maybe inside Pakistan or outside Pakistan, because the Pakistan rupee was named the world's best performing currency in September, Hajra, and the concrete steps taken by the Pakistan Army and caretaker government towards the improvement of the country's economy began to emerge finally. So the crackdowns against large-scale hoarders have led to a depreciation of the rupee and a fall in dollar. The recent rupee is at a 7-week high against the US dollar, and that's something that I cannot keep myself calm. So imagine that according to the State Bank of Pakistan, the rupee closed at rupees 287.74 with an increase of 0.35% of rupees 1.01 against the dollar. Not just that, the gold prices in Pakistan saw a significant decline for the second consecutive session in the last week of September. 24-carat bar price settled at 203,000 rupees per tola after a one-day decline of rupees 10,500 per tola. All Pakistan Gems and Jewelers Sarafa Association said that as well. A record rupees 2,407 billion was collected in the last 7 months, which is 17% higher than last year's rupees 2,062 billion. FBR said so as well. So imagine, Hajra, if you're willing to buy gold, I think this is the right time for you, and you already are a rich lady, right?
I think you fall in that club, but having said so, when the dollar price is reduced, so we can see that there is a ripple effect into the entire economy, and we've seen that the prices of the petroleum prices have also gone down, which is another much needed respite that we need in the first place, right? So why not talk about the foreign direct investments, and why not talk about how Pakistan's economy can be, and especially in the era of the global economy where there's so much interconnectedness, where there's so much dependence, that the entire globe is now connected at an unprecedented level that has never been witnessed in the history before. So why not talk about the free market, free borders, and obviously how we can benefit from each other. So with that, we are very glad that we have been joined by two wonderful guests in our studio. Shahzad, why don't you do the honors and
All right, right, so ladies and gentlemen, very lucky that we've actually been joined by the chairman of the Overseas Business Forum UK, who happens to be Mr. Mohammed Farooq Khan. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you feeling today, sir?
Alhamdulillah.
Sir,
very
thank
nice,
you so much, first of all, for taking our time, flying all the way from UK to Pakistan and being a part of our show. Thank you so much. We're very glad. Thank you so much once again. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this forum is actually going to bridge the gap in between. See, we talk about foreign direct investment. We certainly need people who need to come over here and invest. When we talk about investment, obviously Pakistan provides a lot of opportunities in terms of tourism. You know, so imagine the weather is changing, everybody wants to go to some scenic places, and it's not just the Pakistani diaspora outside Pakistan who really need to invest, but it can be people from other nationalities too, which is why we're very lucky and thankful to Farooq Saab over here, who actually made sure that this gentleman, one hell of a businessman, is actually going to come down to Pakistan to check or look for more avenues for the foreign direct investment in terms of tourism. If we are to talk about Pakistan, he happens to be a Turkish business investor in Pakistan. He is Mr. Kemal Chief. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful to have you. You look handsome, you look smart.
Thank you very much.
And all the Pakistanis out there welcome you to Pakistan.
Thank you very much.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
Merhaba. So Farooq bhai, let's get the conversation started. This forum is not very old. It's only been 6 months that the forum has been created. You're making sure that you bring back, you know, a lot of foreign direct investment. First, let's talk about the forum that you've created.
Yeah, exactly, but not is 6 months. From 6 months, this one from long time is 15 to 20 years.
Okay, 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, we make events in UK and different places, Birmingham, London, Manchester, Bradford.
But you came down to Pakistan now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, first time, yeah. But we meet in Sarhad Chamber of Commerce, Peshawar, and Peshawar Chamber of Commerce for small businesses, and Mardan Chamber of Commerce, and Governor Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and President of Pakistan, and different ways to actually we want the businesses here to UK, but sometime is make a problem. The small industriesman, he some in tout is in between people make a problem, but we want to networking direct business to business, B&B. That's it. He want to sell the any item. He direct to the main buyer is the UK or in Europe. They direct to deals, everything. They finalize. They enjoy.
So that means that certainly that you've collected a lot of data over there in UK for people or businesses, you know, which are really interested in buying, you know, whatever they want to buy, you know, from Pakistan or elsewhere all over the globe. Because the forum is now touched down in Pakistan, what are the avenues that you're looking forward to? Because one, obviously tourism, that you want people to be a part of the tourism industry and you need to get and attract investment over here. That's one bit. But why do you think that such a forum is actually important when we already have so many other forums working, and that too in terms of overseas or the Pakistani diaspora which lives abroad?
Actually, we want something in Urdu because some small businessman not knowledge in English. Actually, जब हम लोग जब networking करते हैं ना, तो दूसरे लोग फ़ायदा small business को भी मिलता है और बड़े industrialist को भी मिलता है. हम लोग चाहते हैं.
I'm really sorry, I have to interject here, but our channel is in the English, so if you can be kind enough and speak in English.
No, but a small businessman, a small business for a small businessman is not
First
knowledge
just say it in English and then just translate it in Urdu, or we can do it for you. Please go ahead.
Yes. But now in tourism, actually we make some events about tourism. We actually working and guidance to the parents. Please go to the Pakistan for events, any for marriage events, on some death events. Sorry, death problem. Yeah, you go there, but children going to outside like Naatkhwan Gali, Murray, and beautiful places in Pakistan. Maybe children is go every time and say to the parents, we go to the Pakistan and visit to northern area. is very beautiful
Yes,
area in
yes.
Pakistan.
True.
Right,
Insha-
right. So moving on to Mr. Kamal, since you have a Turkish background and in Pakistan, especially after their dramas were getting extremely popular, so Shahzad, you will see that how you will find there lots of Turkish influence across the city, across the country, especially in terms of the eateries. There are lots of restaurants which are opening up, offering baklavas and very sweet Turkish cuisine.
We even have Arturul chips over here
Yes,
now.
yes, yes. So when we talk about the investment, so what is your particular area? Because I think hospitality sector in Pakistan is very fertile ground, right? Because Shahzad is a foodie here and Pakistanis are generally very foodie people. They love eating food out there. So please tell us about your ventures.
Well, actually, last year I had the opportunity to, through some networking events like Overseas Business Forum, to invest in Islamabad in some commercial units.
Okay,
Mashallah.
wonderful.
Started
Big
with
money.
that. Yeah, started with that. And then whilst I was in Pakistan, I've seen that there are lots of other opportunities to invest.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. And then at the moment, I've been running several businesses in the UK, ranging from restaurants, as I have a popular one in
Pasha.
the heart of Birmingham, which is called Pasha.
I've been there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. And hairdressing chain and several other businesses.
Right.
And I believe that I can bring a chain of these types of businesses to Pakistan.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And I've seen that people in Pakistan have talent.
Thank you.
And I want to help these people to make themselves to be successful.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And these businesses obviously will generate lots of jobs.
True.
And then these people will open their own businesses.
True.
And then this will help the country's economy to grow up.
Exactly, and it will be a chain process, and we certainly are thankful for you to be so considerate in coming down to Pakistan, investing into commercial units. Obviously, that certainly takes a lot of millions of pounds to invest over here. The properties or the real estate sector is really huge over here, and I'll come back to that. But I want to move on to Farooq Saab over here. Farooq bhai, so you've been to the different chambers all over the country. You've been meeting with the governor, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. You met the president of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. How were your meetings, and how was it when you went to the chambers? And what was the kind of support which was extended to your forum?
Brother, this is an example for you. This the British people want to invest here, but now is some crisis in Pakistan. They is suffer and sometimes.
Which is why we gave you the good news, right at the beginning of the segment.
Good news now is now investment is very best for us.
True.
And in Pakistan, and they make money, and actually employment is problem in Pakistan.
True.
They solve it. It's many more British people is coming, inshallah, and through from us. And because we make events and networking, and many more English people is coming, inshallah, also, yeah.
And then also, Farooq Saab, since we've seen that United Kingdom withdraw from the European Union, there was a Brexit going on, so there's lots of opportunities where I think, because it needs new markets to invest itself since it has withdrawn from the European Union. So how does Pakistani business investment or forum factor into that equation? Do you think that there is a good prospect for collaboration between UK and Pakistani?
Now, we not only networking in Pakistan and UK, we also working in Doha and Turkey, and also is different Islamic countries like Saudi Arab.
Right.
We do it in Dubai, but especially I'm interested in Pakistan because I am Pakistani. That's the reason.
Yeah, that's good reason,
wonderful.
but certainly there needs to be reason for Mr. Kamal too over here for coming down. So, Mr. Kamal, what is your reason of investing in Pakistan?
Well, I've seen lots of opportunities here.
Wonderful.
That's why, and through Mr. Farooq Khan, I've been to the country, and this is my second time,
MashaAllah.
and I loved it. I know it's a poor country, but I'm sure if we work together, especially with the government, doesn't matter who is in power in the country, we can grow the country.
Thank you so much for saying that, and it's certainly these kind of partnerships which actually help the economy to grow. But why do you think that foreign investment is important for any country to grow and prosper?
Well, my background is from Turkey,
Yep.
and I've moved to
UK.
as a migrant to move to UK for 25 years.
Mashallah. You only
And I
look
opened
25, brother.
several businesses there, and I've been successful, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
And why not we can do this in our countries?
true.
Is enough. That's it. We can now do it in our own countries. Well, I have plans to do it all over the world maybe.
Inshallah.
But especially I want to do at the moment in Pakistan, and some I will be doing in Turkey. I just want to kind of like move businesses from
So you want to be a
UK
global businessman, right?
Well, why not?
Not just.
I have some
specific one.
aims,
Yeah.
especially to help poor people.
Wonderful.
It's not about being rich, to have money. Well, we cannot carry millions on, on ourselves. It's only digits.
That's true.
That's
Even if I have billions, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any
But you
difference.
do, alhamdulillah.
My aim is to help poor people and animals like cats, dogs,
Wonderful.
straits,
And
animals.
that's a very noble thoughts, and thank you so much for very succinctly putting it out there. But one last question before we wrap up this segment is that what sort of incentives do you need from the government? Because obviously you talked about your aims and goals and you want to help poor people out there. But what sort of support do you need in this entire process?
Well, the sport will be like how they sport in other people, they can sport me as well. I don't need any special sport.
Wonderful.
Only whenever I want to invest, whenever I invest it, if they just be like kind of like security, safety, that will be enough.
Exactly.
And I believe that we will build that as well together.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, especially I request these things, is with President. Please make one like it. Bank tribunal is here. Every tribunal is here, but only for foreigners overseas is no tribunal is here, because many more problem for overseas, especially in properties, is about 20, 30 years they going to courts and big problems.
Yes, yes.
Please, they solved the overseas problem, especially in make a tribunal
And
for
when
overseas.
you met
Growing
with the
system.
president, did you talk about it? as
Yeah,
well? And
exactly.
What did the president say?
But he say maybe.
Inshallah. I think that's what he meant.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. We will certainly make sure that we address to such grievances as
Yes.
well. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for being
Thank
with
you
us.
so
Lovely
much.
to be in conversation with
Thank
you
you
and for
so much.
everybody
Thank
who's
you.
out there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Pakistan to fly high. And inshallah, in days to come, with that good news that we have shared with you, that how the Pakistani rupee has actually done so wonderfully well in record time, I think is something which we really need to be hopeful about. Because imagine that if you can do it in such dire time of need, certainly Pakistan and Pakistani people can do well. Sir.
One last,
please.
Sure.
President especially saying this the overseas problem maybe on make a website. He solved the problem in 60 days. Maybe this one.
There's already
is
an
very
app out
announced.
there.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
app,
Yes,
yeah, already.
yes.
I think
Yeah.
people certainly need to be well aware of it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll make sure that we give you such a sort of awareness in days to come. But Pakistan's future look very promising from here onwards. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. There's another important event. It's a very important month for us as Muslims. Why? That's something that we'll talk about after a short break. Good morning.
Welcome back, and before going on to the break, Shahzad alluded to the fact that this is the month of Rabiul Awwal, and obviously we celebrate the existence of Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in this regard, we are very glad that we have been joined by Naatkhwan, because we want to spiritually resonate ourselves with the message that was made for the entire humanity in the first place. So without any further ado, we would like to introduce our guest, who happens to be Hafiz Imran Madni Sahab. He's a Naatkhwan. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show. So ho jaye naat.
وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے وہیں گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے وہیں گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ سونے سے کنکر وہ چاندی سی مٹی نظر میں بسانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ سونے سے کنکر وہ چاندی سی مٹی نظر میں بسانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. جہاد محبت کی آواز گونجی کہا حنظلہ نے یہ دلہن سے اپنی. جہاد محبت کی آواز گونجی جہاد محبت کی آواز گونجی کہا حنظلہ نے یہ دلہن سے اپنی. اجازت اگر دو اجازت اگر دو تو جام شہادت لبوں سے لگانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے وہیں گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. جو پوچھا نبی نے کہ کچھ گھر بھی چھوڑا تو صدیق اکبر کے ہونٹوں پہ آیا. جو پوچھا نبی نے کہ کچھ گھر بھی چھوڑا جو پوچھا نبی نے کہ کچھ گھر بھی چھوڑا تو صدیق اکبر کے ہونٹوں پہ آیا. وہاں مال و دولت کی کیا ہے ضرورت جہاں دل لٹانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے وہیں گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. ستاروں سے یہ چاند کہتا ہے ہر دم ستاروں سے یہ چاند کہتا ہے ہر دم تمہیں کیا بتائیں وہ ٹکڑوں کا عالم. ستاروں سے یہ چاند کہتا ہے ہر دم تمہیں کیا بتائیں وہ ٹکڑوں کا عالم. اشارے میں آقا کہ اتنا مزہ ہے اشاروں میں آقا کہ اتنا مزہ ہے کہ پھر ٹوٹ جانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے وہیں گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے. وہ ننھا سا اصغر وہ ایڑی رگڑ کر یہی کہہ رہا ہے وہ خیمے میں رو کر. وہ ننھا سا اصغر وہ ایڑی رگڑ کر وہ ننھا سا اصغر وہ ایڑی رگڑ کر یہی کہہ رہا ہے وہ خیمے میں رو کر. بابا میں پانی کا پیاسا نہیں ہوں، اے بابا میں پانی کا پیاسا نہیں ہوں، میرا سر کٹانے کو دل چاہتا ہے، وہ شہر محبت جہاں مصطفیٰ ہے، وہی گھر بنانے کو دل چاہتا ہے۔
اللہ اور اس کے فرشتے آپ حضرت محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم پر درود شریف پڑھتے ہیں اور بھیجتے ہیں، اور جتنے بھی for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, let's indulge ourselves into reciting Durood Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and please make sure that you keep on sending your salutations to him. Until next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.